Get price, value, and selection on Lincoln's most popular models. Like a new 2019 Lincoln MKC, just $299 a month. Or a 2018 MKZ, just $299 a month. Enjoy luxury for less with bottom line windshield pricing. Only at Alpacker Lincoln on Military Trail. And remember,
before you buy, price Packer.
Unstoppable Wi-Fi has a starting place, the Xfinity X5 Gateway. And it's strengthened by X5 pods, which plug in to extend the Wi-Fi even farther, past anything that stands in its way. Well, almost anything. Leave no room behind with X5 pods. Simple, easy, awesome. Click or visit a retail store today.
Bank. Save 20% on your first order and get fast free shipping. Shop online at Chewy.com.
Breaking news for National Hurricane.
All the rain in the forecast created the opportunity for the perfect crime.
Storm of Suspicion. All new episodes Sunday nights at 8.
Currently in our area, 79 degrees under partly cloudy skies. Today, thunderstorms, high 89, winds south-southwest at 10 to 15 miles per hour, chance of rain 80%. Tonight, late-night thunderstorms, low 76, winds southwest at 5 to 10 miles per hour, chance of rain 40%. Friday, thunderstorms developing in the afternoon, high 87, chance of rain 50%. Here's our 7-day outlook.
The power of a 155 mile per hour Cat 4 hurricane that if it had more room, it would have been a Cat 5. Amazing. The pressure certainly has been Cat 5 range with 919 millibars. That's the third lowest pressure in the history of any landfalling U.S. hurricane in any month. All right? Let's take a look at some of these pictures. Now, remember, I told you I'm in Panama City. We're in the western part of what was the western eye wall. What you're looking at right now is Mexico Beach. They were in the eastern eye wall. Between us and Mexico Beach is Tyndall Air Force Base, all right? And that's where the eye went over. But you can see how ferocious that was. And I don't even think this is the height of the storm, frankly, because with the kind of wind gusts we got there in that eye wall, that car could have easily been overturned and tossed. So hopefully those guys were out of harm's way. But we certainly appreciate the pictures while it was safe enough to drive around. All right, let's take you to Panama City here. And you can see what's going on. Certainly the western eye wall just as powerful. I'm going to read you some of these reports here. Macedo just sent me these. 8 Harrison Avenue, one major structural damage there to the Panama City Civic Center. All right. Bay Medical Sacred Heart. That's a medical place. It sustained significant structural damage from the hurricane. First Federal Bank in Panama City sustained massive damage due to the hurricane. Callaway, Florida. Now that's northwest of Tyndall. All right, that's where the northern eye wall and the eye itself actually came on through. So they got both sides of the eye. We're talking about heavy damage to a gas station there. And Panama City, the base cycle and fitness building sustained major structural damage. And you saw some of the winds there. You're seeing some of the video here in Panama City. And again, if you look at just that western eye wall, which was about 5 to 7 miles wide, I am on the western side of what would be that western eye wall. If we keep going east, we go toward downtown Panama City. But this is a city of 180,000 people that got absolutely hammered by this in this area, okay? So no question there's going to be a lot of cleanup and even a realization now, especially with first light. Yesterday it was way too windy all the way to sunset, way too cloudy to get out, even though the rain's dispersed. You heard from the mayor of Panama City Beach that they didn't do too bad. There's certainly some power outages there. There was some damage to the beach, but no breaches, no washovers onto First Street. But here, a whole different story in that western eye wall, and as we mentioned, into the eastern eye wall as well. So again, guys, very much a breaking situation. The good news is the weather's cooperating nicely. It will continue to do so. We have a cold front that is making its way here right now, and that is going to allow for some drier air and really some pleasant conditions for the cleanup effort over the next several days and into the weekend here. So if there's any silver lining, Kelly, in this, especially for the cleanup, that is it.
Yes,
over to you.
I agree. And the fact that this moved rather quickly, we didn't deal with the 2 to 3 foot rain foot totals like we saw with Florence. We want to get the headlines now on, Michael, what we know at this hour. 3,500 National Guard troops will fan out in North Florida today to begin that cleanup. Authorities say they've got 1.5 million meals ready to go. Tallahassee International Airport hopes to resume commercial flights by mid-morning. And Michael made it roughly 250 miles inland, still holding on as a hurricane, holding on for a hurricane for nearly 12 hours, actually, after landfall, even a major hurricane as it worked its way into southern Georgia. Just phenomenal. So we're still dealing with, Michael, now a tropical storm, but still packing a punch in terms of severe weather, flooding. Can't rule out the possibility of some isolated tornadoes, especially here in the red. But you've got 85 being impacted by the wet weather, those very heavy rainfall bands just to the east of our center and especially up through the mountainous locations of the Appalachians. We work our way to the 95 corridor, and these are areas hard hit by Florence. We can't take much more rainfall. Of course, the rivers are still running high across this area as well. May not take much wind to topple down some of those vulnerable trees, so keep that in mind. The moisture from Michael makes its way into the northeast probably by about rush hour this evening. For a place like New York City, Philadelphia, D.C., we could actually see severe weather to go along with it. And then eventually Boston, you get in on some of that heavy rain, which will linger into your Friday morning as well. So the airports we're concerned about in terms of delays, cancellations possibly, Raleigh, Charleston, South Carolina, as well as D.C. and Boston Logan. Definitely check ahead there, especially later on today. All right, let's head back out to Panama City with Jim.
All right, Del, again, I kind of walked back a little bit here. Now we're getting a little bit more light. I just wanted to see a little bit more of this structure. But, you know, you can see this is cinder block. All right, we've lost it almost looks like part of the roof imploded. Some of it blew off this way. If you look behind me, you can see the metal roof that was probably rolled up. All right, so once the wind got in there, once it started loosening the edges of the structure, that was it. And that's the building collapsing through here. Looking back at some of the trees, these are deciduous trees, so the fact that they've lost their leaves tells me we had a heck of a wind here, probably 100 miles an hour in terms of what we got. But it's interesting, you know, if you look right here, it wasn't everywhere, okay? I mean, these trucks are still standing. They weren't pushed over, but the next building over lost its roof as well. Okay, and we'll show you that a little bit later on. But certainly this is a part of the western side of the western eye wall. That's what we've seen. A lot of this, again, just kind of thrown about. We've got power out all over Panama City right now. Once you get over toward Panama City Beach and then west of that, there is more power coming back on because, remember, they weren't in the western eye wall. Still very much a search and discovery as to just how bad this is. Again, and we can't even get to where some of the worst damage was. We'll be right back.
This program brought to you by Prevagen, the name to remember.
I love my grandma.
As you grow older, your brain naturally begins to change, which may cause trouble with recall.
Learning from him is great when I can keep up.
Thankfully, Prevagen helps your brain and improves memory.
Dad's got all the answers.
Prevagen is now the #1 selling brain health supplement in drugstores nationwide.
She outsmarts me every single time.
Checkmate. You want to play again?
Prevagen, healthier brain, better life.
Never-ending Pasta Bowl is back at Olive Garden starting at $10.99. Come in for over 100 combinations of pastas, sauces, and toppings. With everyone's favorite chicken Alfredo, plus unlimited salad and breadsticks. Only for a limited time at Olive Garden.
Nothing outlasts Energizer Ultimate Lithium. Hey, you can't do that.
Can he do that?
Yeah, he's good.
Energizer Ultimate Lithium. It's the #1 longest lasting battery.
If you have a water emergency, call the certified professionals at Stanley Steamer and get back to dry.
For 24-hour emergency water restoration,
Call 1-800-STEAMER. Stanley Steamer gets your home cleaner.
Lovely. How does one make such delightful cucumber sandwiches?
Frank's Red Hot sauce, Your Majesty. I put that on everything.
Frank's Red Hot Original, the perfect blend of flavor and heat.
You never forget your first race. And you never back down from the next. You're the brotherhood of muscle.
This is Fracture. Just upload an image, place your order, and it'll show up at your door, beautifully printed directly on glass. And this isn't just another frame, not just another canvas. This is new. This is a Fracture. Visit FractureMe.com and print one today.
Olay Total Effects. The power of 7 benefits, all in one bottle. Without costing $100, $200, or $400. Enriched with vitamin B3 complex for beautiful skin. Olay.
Most homeowners draw a blank when asked what their home projects should cost. That's why at Home Advisor, you can see what others paid for similar jobs in your area. Start your next home project knowing what you should pay. Go to homeadvisor.com or download the free app.
You can't be serious with Twizzlers.
Welcome to American Ninja Warrior.
Don't miss the premiere of American Ninja Warrior Jr. Saturday at 7, only on Universal Kids.
All right, just in, a brand new flash flood warning just issued for the upstate of South Carolina. We've got more than 800,000 people included in this flash flood warning, including Greenville and Spartanburg. So those are the counties till 12:45 Eastern time. So radar is indicating we've seen as much as 3 inches of rainfall. And last night, of course, we saw heavy rain as well as those rain bands from now Tropical Storm Michael are kind of wrapping around the eastern side and affecting us, especially here in the upstate of South Carolina, as well as western North Carolina. Just to the east of Asheville, we do have a flash flood warning in effect as well. All right, for Columbia, this is an ongoing flash flood warning. We've been following an inch per hour rainfall rates, and we are talking about 2 to 4 inches total that could be piling up here with Tropical Storm Michael's rain bands affecting us. Those winds, by the way, are gusting at times over 40 miles per hour. We've got Lexington and Richland counties included in this flash flood warning until 9:15. That may be extended if the heavy rain doesn't let up anytime soon. But when you're looking at the radar, the yellows, the oranges, that is some intense rainfall that is happening not just here in South Carolina, but up over the border into North Carolina. Buncombe, Henderson, and Rutherford counties in this flash flood warning. This goes until 11:30 Eastern time, including Blue Ridge, Hendersonville, and Hoopers Creek. So turn around, don't drown. These roads may be filling up very quickly with water. Remember, this is an area hard hit as Florence came through just last month. All right, we want to get back out to the panhandle of Florida where we took a direct hit with a Category 4 hurricane. Jim, I still can't believe it. You know, just a little bit shy of Cat 5 status. What I'm amazed by, though, is the fact that we didn't see a higher storm surge. I know we were worried that we'd see a storm surge up around 9, 10, 12 feet. But I think the highest we've seen was, what, over 7 feet in Apalachicola, right?
Yeah, I agree with you there. But here's what I think happened, Kelly, is the fact that you went literally yesterday from a 2 to a 4. So we kind of, if you will, captured the lower end of that storm surge. Not to mention, we don't know how high it got in Mexico Beach, right? Or Port St. Joe. So that's another thing. Guys, I'm going to show you around. We just turned a little bit from the building I was on. I'll show you around in just a minute, but I want to take you to Port St. Joe. This is one of the areas that dealt with that eastern eye wall. Okay, this is one of those areas, and I apologize for the fog on the lens, but that's what happens when you go in and out of a high humidity environment. It's going to look kind of filmy like that in the middle. But here you go, guys. Again, we're going to change cameras in a second too. Let's check out Port St. Joe and the issues there. They had surge. They had an onshore wind, and that certainly kept the water blowing in. But also, you've got major structural damage here because of the wind. Remember, where this thing came ashore, it had winds of 155 miles per hour. So that's that's the equivalent here of an EF3 tornado. And they didn't just last for 30 seconds. They lasted, in some cases here, for 45 minutes. So big difference. Major structural damage there, I'm sure. And again, this is just some of the pictures. And this is why Stephanie and her crew actually decided to leave this area because of the threat of being in that eastern eye wall. So a good choice for everybody's safety, certainly there. And you can see the kind of damage there. But here again, where the western eye wall was, in Panama City, the building that we showed you is to my left. All right, here's another roof off. Here's another sheet metal roof. I walk down, the building behind that is also pretty much collapsed, so that lost its roof. Across the street, I don't know if it's a church or a school or whatnot, but they've got tile roofs there, and a lot of those shingles are missing. But really as I just kind of look and pull a 360, some buildings fared better, but you can see, the fascia and things like that with some damage. There really isn't anywhere that is missed. Winds here probably over 100 miles per hour, all right, in the western eye wall. But remember, as the storm is coming ashore at 15, it's going to negate that 100 a little bit. That 145. So that's the issue there. But on the eastern side of the eye wall, you've actually got the forward momentum to actually, throw those winds and that onshore flow and that surge. Either way, guys, again, it's just kind of an examination here in Panama City this morning. We are on the western side of the worst debris. This is about as far as we can get with a satellite truck because the power lines are hanging down. All right. And obviously, as we get to explore a little bit more, certainly, Kelly, I'm sure we're going to find, sadly, I'm sure we're going to find worse damage even here in Panama City, population 180,000. Back to you.
And thanks so much. I know a lot of people are anxious to see what their neighborhoods look like in the wake of a Category 4 hurricane. And we're still dealing with Michael, only this time as a tropical storm. It has weakened. That is the good news. And by the way, it is hauling to the northeast at 21 miles per hour. And we're seeing the worst of the weather definitely to the east of our center, which is now crossing out of Georgia into South Carolina. We still have a tornado threat, and we still have a flood threat as well. In fact, we have ongoing flash flood warnings in effect for Columbia, South Carolina. We're gusting over 40. Atlanta on the backside of all this, we have more of a northwest flow gusting close to 30 miles per hour. And even that kind of wind can cause some problems, at least with big branches coming down. But watch for trees to come down, susceptible, vulnerable, especially in the wake of Florence from a month ago. We do have flash flood warnings in effect for the upstate of South Carolina. More than 800,000 people just in the Greenville-Spartanburg area. And we'll track this rain moving north as we go through the day.
Metastatic breast cancer is relentless. But I'm relentless too.
NBC doesn't take a day off, and neither will I.
And I treat my NBC with new everyday Verzenio, the only one of its kind that can be taken every day.
In fact, Verzenio is a CDK4 and 6 inhibitor for postmenopausal women with HR-positive, HER2-negative metastatic breast cancer, approved with hormonal therapy as an everyday treatment for a relentless disease. Verzenio plus an AI is proven to help women have significantly more time without disease progression. And more than half of women saw their tumors shrink versus an AI. Diarrhea is common, may be severe, and may cause dehydration or infection. Before taking Verzenio, tell your doctor if you have fever, chills, or other signs of infection. Verzenio may cause low white blood cell counts, which may cause serious infection that can lead to death. Serious liver problems can occur. Symptoms may include tiredness, loss of appetite, stomach pain, and bleeding or bruising more easily than normal. Blood clots that can lead to death have also occurred. Talk to your doctor right away if you notice pain or swelling in your arms or legs, shortness of breath, chest pain, or rapid breathing or heart rate. Tell your doctor if you are pregnant, breastfeeding, or plan to become pregnant. Common side effects include nausea, infections, low red and white blood cells and platelets, decreased appetite, headache, abdominal pain, tiredness, vomiting, and hair thinning or loss.
I'm relentless, and my doctor and I choose to treat my metastatic breast cancer with Verzenio.
Be relentless. Ask your doctor about everyday Verzenio.
Well, here's to first dates. You look amazing.
And you look amazingly comfortable.
When your V-neck looks more like a U-neck,
That's when you know it's half washed. Add Downy to keep your collars from stretching. Unlike detergent alone, Downy conditions to smooth and strengthen fibers. So next time, don't half wash it. Downy, and it's done.
Are we there yet?
You don't always use your smartphone for directions.
Okay, guys, out there.
Or to laugh out loud.
You're in the middle. Yeah.
But when it matters most, you count on TracFone to keep you connected for less. Our smartphone plan gives you talk, text, and data with unlimited carryover starting at $15 a month. No contract. All with nationwide 4G LTE coverage. Get top smartphones or bring your own phone. TracFone for moments that matter.
Oscar Mayer Deli Fresh ham has no added nitrates, nitrites, or artificial preservatives. Now, Deli Fresh flavor is for everyone. Like those who like sweet, those who prefer heat, and those who just love meat. Oscar Mayer Deli Fresh, a fresh way to deli.
If you have psoriasis, little things can be a big deal. That's why there's Otezla. Otezla is not a cream. It's a pill that treats moderate to severe plaque psoriasis differently. With Otezla, 75% clear skin is achievable. Don't use if you're allergic to Otezla. It may cause severe diarrhea, nausea, or vomiting. Otezla is associated with an increased risk of depression. Tell your doctor if you have a history of depression or suicidal thoughts, or if these feelings develop. Some people taking Otezla reported weight loss. Your doctor should monitor your weight and may stop treatment. Upper respiratory tract infection and headache may occur. Tell your doctor about your medicines and if you're pregnant or planning to be. Otezla, show more of you.
All right, we are tracking Michael, a tropical storm working its way through South Carolina. Winds are gusting better than 40 miles per hour in Columbia, South Carolina. Unfortunately, the power outage numbers are fluctuating, but they are still out there across southern Georgia and now moving through South Carolina. Flash flood warnings are in effect for Columbia, where winds are gusting better than 40 miles per hour. And there you see the power outage tracker, especially down toward the Florida Panhandle. This is what we have red on the map, and unfortunately, it could take quite a while to restore power, especially when we're dealing with not just wires being knocked down, but power poles as well. Jim Cantori joins us live now from Panama City in Florida. Jim.
Here we go. Yeah, and Kelly, as I mentioned, when we came in here from Panama City Beach, we are on the western side of Panama City. I'm here with Officer Eric Abraham. He's been driving around, and he drove up to me. He goes, "Jim, have you been on the eastern side of the city?" And I said, "No, but why don't you come tell us actually what we had there?" So we only got one microphone, and it's right here. So but that's why I'm going to stand awfully close to you, sir. Tell us what you've seen over there, Eric.
Eastern side of town is what everybody it's described as a war zone. There's houses totally demolished down to foundations, boats flipped over, cars flipped over, buses flipped over. I mean, it's devastating. And on that side of town, of course, emergency services trying to get in there and get in and out of there.
Are there people trapped in homes this morning?
There are still people trapped in homes on the east side, Callaway side, going towards Tyndall Bridge. They're still over there. There's a lot of people that need help around here.
Now, you served.
Yes, sir.
And you've been over in true war zones.
Yes, sir.
How does this compare?
It's the same thing. If I had to put it on a scale of 1 to 10, this would be it right here.
Really?
I mean, the only thing we don't have is disabled tanks and vehicles out here.
Right.
Everything else that you see is the same exact what we would see out in a war zone.
When you were briefed, as a team yesterday morning, is this what they pretty much told you to expect when you got out here afterward, or is this a little bit more than you thought would happen here?
This is a little bit more. They didn't really open us up and say, hey, you know, guys, get ready for this. Coming out here and working out here and seeing this is you're still in awe at what's going on. Driving down and seeing businesses. Hey, I used to, get coffee from over here. Right. I used to, this used to be my favorite sandwich spot. It's nothing but a rubble. I mean, you can see behind us. This is a local grocery store in front of us, and
yeah, I didn't even know what that was. Thank you for telling me, actually. But look at every building. So what was this building here? This
was an auto repair shop, and over there they do gymnastics in that building.
So all these buildings completely destroyed here. So, but as you go east, you said,
yes,
it gets a little bit. I mean, we have cars that are overturned and kind of pushed up against buildings and things like that.
Yes, it's
My
terrible
goodness.
on that side.
And literally miles of driving around, you're seeing this.
That's it. What we're hearing is now crews are starting to get in there and start trying to get some of the major roadways open up. But you know, most houses and most where everybody live, they live on the side roads. So.
And as you go east, you know, obviously power's out everywhere, but more power poles down lines and things like that. A lot worse with the wind.
Yes, it's a lot worse.
All right.
I mean, I know you guys coming down, which is 15th Street, or which you guys came here. It's been cleared pretty much of a lot of the debris, but as you go east, they
haven't gotten to it yet.
They haven't gotten to it yet. It's terrible. It's terrible.
Officer Eric Abraham, appreciate your service, and obviously both in the military and as a police officer.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, sir, for giving us that brief, because we just got on scene as well.
Okay.
All right, thank you, my friend. Again, guys, you heard Officer Abraham talking certainly about areas that he just would go and usually get a cup of coffee, destroyed. Grocery store. This was, you know, a place where they did car repair, auto repair, and then a gym next to that. Really unrecognizable here. And again, we are on the western side of the worst damage, as you heard. So, wow. Again, you know, Kelly, this is very much kind of a discovery. And you heard, you know, perhaps the most important part of my interview with Officer Abraham, where he was talking about they are trying to get to people in Callaway. They are trying to get to areas where there is so much debris. And again, guys, we are just on the western eye wall of this. Mexico Beach, that area, we're not able to get to. That's where Steph tried to get to this morning, and she got caught up into the pines. Once you get north and west of here, all right, there's so much woods, so much pine, and the farther east you go again, power, unlike this one here that's still standing and got the wires on it, they are down as well. All right, Tracy Carmody, where am I going? All right, let's go to Mike Seidel, who's actually still in what is kind of amazing to me, a circulation center of sorts, Mike, and now starting to see some of this rain and wind move into areas that were hard hit by Florence in eastern South Carolina and southern North Carolina.
Yeah, the center has passed us, and if you look on the radar, on the gyre, all the rain now is front-end loaded off to the east and north and northeast, and going into areas like Florence. And the eastern Carolinas had a lot of rain, unprecedented rainfall during Florence. But this time around, it's moving much, much faster. Our rainfall totals should top out generally between 3 and 5 inches where the core moves over you. Columbia right now, raining hard. You've had about 1 2/3 inches. It'll be ending up 2 to 3 inches. Flash flood warning till 9:15. More flash flood warnings in the upstate of South Carolina and the mountains of western North Carolina as the wind becomes less of an issue as we go through the day. Wind gusts right now running mid-40s. Columbia gusting 46. Here in Augusta, we gusted to 45 miles an hour. About 10% of Richmond County is without power. Otherwise, power outages are going down in Georgia. They've dropped a little bit from 356 to 343,000, but in South Carolina, up to 72,000 customers as the core moves on through. Continuing coverage of Tropical Storm Michael. We'll go back to the coast with Jim Cantori and Stephanie Abrams to show you the devastation.
We have serious problems. We're tumbling end over end up here.
What are the chances you're not coming back?
5 seconds to mandatory abort.
That's one small step for man.